Joining me now from Canberra, John Blaxland is a professor of international security and intelligence studies at the Australian National University. Thank you for joining me. Can I ask you, we've got protests from Australia, New Zealand, Japan, Taiwan, and China defending its submarine missile launch. How do you interpret the signaling here? What is going on here?
Yeah, no, I think it's a fascinating event to watch. It's very interesting to see how China is using a historically significant date, the 89th anniversary of the Marco Polo Bridge incident, which marked the commencement of Japan's full invasion of China back in 1937, as the date on which to launch this missile. It coincides with the signing of the security pact between Australia and Fiji. And Australia has been playing a leading role in competing for influence in the South Pacific in the last few years. And that's been following pacts signed with Indonesia and with Papua New Guinea, as Australia looks to shore up its relationships in the region in what is becoming a hyper-competitive environment. The missile firing itself reflects China's ability and desire to consolidate the nuclear triad, if you like, the ability to defend China from attack or counterattack with its missiles from land, sea, and air. The submarine-launched missile is one that is clearly on the cutting edge of China's technological push, and that is largely what this is about. But this has pushed the legal boundaries to the limit. We know technically China has not breached any territorial exclusion zones, economic exclusion zones. It's operated technically within the law, but to the edge of the law. And of course, along the way, it's irritated everybody in between. So whether or not this is going to prove to be of benefit to China in the long run, when you irritate the neighbors and everybody starts getting worried about you, it certainly encourages countries like Fiji and others in the Pacific to look towards Australia and sometimes the United States, Japan, and elsewhere as well. So whether or not it's proving worthwhile for China to do this is up for debate.
So, Professor, you're suggesting this is in part a message in response to Australia and Fiji's deepening ties. You have just in the last day or so, the government in Manila announcing in the Philippines that it will be receiving destroyers from Japan, and that Japan and the Philippines have been deepening their own security cooperation. Of course, both of those countries are involved in territorial disputes and jockeying with China in the South China Sea and in the East Sea. Could these destroyers make much of a difference in some of these confrontations?
So they certainly add to the credibility of the Manila's response. They add evidence of Manila's resolve to push back on Chinese assertiveness. China has been increasingly pushing into the Philippines' exclusive economic zone and brooking no quarter in terms of making concessions to the Philippines. Of course, the previous president of the Philippines made significant concessions to China's demands, and what did it get in return? More pushiness from China. So it didn't really prove worthwhile in the long run, and that's resulted in the current president taking a more hardline position towards China and looking to bolster its connections with Japan and other like-minded countries like Australia. Japan and Australia, of course, traditionally being seen as the spokes in the in the US alliance network across the Pacific, linked to the hub being the United States. But now we're seeing more connection between those spokes between Australia, the United States, and of course the Philippines being a traditional ally of the United States as well. That alliance connection with the United States has also enabled a degree of interoperability of common practices, procedures, and techniques between these three countries and others. That has enabled the connection between them that has actually been accelerated by the fact that Chinese assertiveness is generating that blowback. So we're likely to see more of that as the Philippines continue to feel that pressure. The Japanese are very keen to see the Philippines acquire these vessels. Japan is building a replacement set of vessels. Australia is also buying Japanese vessels. So we're seeing this East Asia, Indo-Pacific collaboration really very much in response to, what could be described as reasonably gratuitous pressure from China.
And amid this growing competition, worth noting that China boasts the world's largest navy. John Blaxland, live from Canberra, thank you so much for sharing your analysis.
Good to be with you.